Conception. It's the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, one of my favorite feast days. But today's show, we've got another one planned for you. With your participation, it's going to be a great show. We just know it because you've never let us down in over, Jerry, has it been 2.5 years?
2.5 years, yeah. Hard to believe.
Wow, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, and I love this feast day, too. Of course, this is really a feast that every Christian should just totally celebrate because it's the application of the cross in the life of the Virgin Mary. At her conception, she was conceived immaculate without sin. Again, it's the work of Christ on the cross, and he was able, being God outside of time and space, to apply it to our Blessed Mother at her conception and the role that she played in his life and in our life and in the church's life. So, beautiful, beautiful feast day. And I know you join me in saying a very special happy birthday to our colleague, Nick Scott.
Nick, happy birthday. We're going to say a special prayer to God today, thanking him that you were born because you've made this world a much better place, Nick. So happy birthday. We hope you're having a special day. Yeah, that's true. Wow, what a great day to be born on.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great day, as you said, Debbie, for people to call in. Here's what we're talking about today. Really enhancing others' quality of life. How do you do that through your work or your service in some other way? Do you or did you work in a field where you have the opportunity to enhance other people's lives? And I'm not so much referring to, the long-term encounters like teaching and coaching and all of these kinds of things, but rather those more brief encounters. They're of shorter duration, maybe even once in a lifetime. For example, if you're a waiter or a waitress.
I was just going to say that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a cook or a chef or a barber, a stylist, a flight attendant, a bus driver, a massage therapist, an auto mechanic. Maybe you're going to encounter these people just one time in your life, but every day you answer the bell, you go to work, and what you do really helps to make or break people's day, and it helps to enhance their quality of life. So share your experience with us on this at 1-800-585-9396.
I think I've shared it before, Jerry, several times on the show that I come from a pretty long background in hospitality, hotel, restaurant management, and those service type industries where you really are at, every time you go out there into the world, you're really serving another person. You're trying to make their situation, their experience better. You're trying to, like you said, enhance it. And I love the way you said that because so many times I know folks that are in service-oriented jobs and they just kind of feel maybe beat up and not appreciated. They just feel like, wow, this is tough work. I'm constantly giving. Who's going to give to me? But it's such a great opportunity to be of service to others. I've always found it very rewarding. So if you're in that position where you can really help others live better, even just with a brief encounter, like Jerry shared, going to a beauty salon, your hairstylist. I know when those of us who come out after we get our hair done, we feel like $1 million. We feel like we can win a beauty contest because it's so perfect. It never looks any better than that, Jerry. And that really is one of those encounters where it just feels really great. If you're in that position where you are helping others, we want to hear from you. What makes you do it every day? What drives you? Do you feel appreciated? There's all sorts of angles we can take on this. So help us out. If you're in that position, this is your time to step up and make that call. 1-800-585-9396.
Yeah, as Debbie alluded, some of these are not the most glamorous jobs in the world, but you maybe that's where God has you right now. So, how do you, or if you're retired, or maybe you're doing something else now, how did you approach your work with a sense that you're potentially making or breaking someone's day? Are you conscious that this person you're serving right now has great worth and dignity, and you're going to do your best to honor that, or is it just sometimes I think Debbie of maybe a short order cook or something? It's another stack of pancakes, here I go, and just throw them on a plate and stick it up there for the waitress. Or do you and this isn't, we don't want to overstate this, like you're thinking, you're going to offer a novena for somebody while you're cooking their pancakes. That's not the point. But do you really just have this thought in the back of your mind, I need to do my best because somebody is going to eat this food? Or like you said, this man or woman is going to walk out of the barber shop or the stylist shop, and they need to look their best, and it's now in my hands to help them do that. So if you're in a position of serving and enhancing the quality of life of others like this, let us hear about it, how you approach it, and how you derive great joy and benefit and blessings. 1-800-585-9396.
And these works of service that we all do for one another, whether it's in our job or in our homes or in our communities, whether it's ministry work or if we're volunteering at a church, a food kitchen or something of that nature, they're very, very important. I think we lose sight of it in this world sometimes. We lose sight of that. We really should value, Jerry, you know how I feel about it. You know where I'm going with this. When I go into airports, who's the first person I compliment is those that are the restroom attendants. I'll tell you what, because I love a clean restroom. I just do. I like when the sinks are clean and everything. And these folks are constantly cleaning up after us. They're constantly making it presentable. And I just feel the need to go to them and say, thank you so very much. You have no idea how that made my day. And you can see them light up. Some don't want to receive the compliment. They don't even know if they're even maybe sometimes worthy of it. And that's unfortunate. We should really go, I believe anyway, go out of our way to really, encourage those who are serving others. What do you think? I mean, I know you agree with that.
Well, I agree completely, and I shudder and hesitate to share this, but I'm going to anyway because it's just an example of not of what I did, but of like what you were just saying. At the gym that I go to, they have the guys who come in and they clean the windows and pick up after all of the careless people who leave their paper towels all over the floor and stuff, and so. Not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, I grabbed a $5 bill out of my pocket and I went up to this young guy and I said, thank you very much for your work. And he looked at me and I handed this to him and he goes, are you sure? And I said, yeah, absolutely, I'm sure. I said, I really appreciate what you do for us. And Debbie, he goes, nobody's ever done that for me before.
Oh, see,
and my heart just melted, And again, I don't say that to shine a light on myself, but again, these are very important service positions in the world. So, dear listeners, what is your experience? Maybe you've established relationships with some of the people you serve. Like Debbie, if I go to restaurants, I always have a favorite waiter or waitress that I ask for.
Oh yeah.
Or if I go to a barber shop, they could have 3 or 4 chairs open, and my barber's busy, and I say I'll wait for him. So. Right. I think there's a real chance to make a deeper connection than just this fleeting sort of commercial encounter that we have with people.
I agree. I think of like our postal carriers. I love the gal that delivers our mail in our neighborhood. She's amazing. She is truly incredible. I often say to her, how do you do it? There's so many loose, big dogs that go running around, and you're so calm, cool, and collected, and you're going to always make sure we have our mail. And it just, there's so many work. There's so much going on around us that people are in their jobs, their work, their employment. But yet it like you said, Jerry, it enhances our life. And sometimes we don't even realize it. We maybe just take it for granted. We just assume that that's how our life flows. But, when we really take note of how many people are helping us have a better quality of life, it sure does make you think that, we got to take that time and just say thank you to all those people, especially this time of year. I think this is the perfect time of year to say thank you and maybe even, give a little gift or something of that nature just to recognize them. So if you're in that industry where you're helping others live better on a daily basis, whether you do it on a volunteer basis or you're getting paid to do it, we want to hear from you. What drives you? What makes you do it? Do you think that God is watching you and you think that this is a much bigger plan, part of salvation? We want to hear from you. 1-800-585-9396.
All right, we have Donna set to go. We're going to go to the phones here in just a moment. Donna listening on Good Shepherd Radio. We'll get this break taken care of first. 1-800-585-9396. 1-800-585-9396. As Debbie said, what drives you? What motivates you? Do you find yourself tempted sometimes just to go through the motions? Like no one really appreciates what I'm doing anyway. Or do you see people light up with a smile on their face because of the service you give them in their lives? That's next here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
This is Father John Ricardo.
This is Gloria Purvis, host of Morning Glory.
Hey, this is Doug Keck, EWTN President and Chief Operating Officer. Advent blessings from all of us at the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
The Trump administration rolls back the Health and Human Services contraceptive mandate.
U.S. bishops calling for the total elimination of nuclear weapons.
Pope Francis offers prayers for the victims of the California wildfires.
The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a bill banning abortions after 20 weeks.
And Pope Francis says the death penalty is contrary to the gospel.
Your link to news headlines Catholics count on at the top of the hour. Weekdays on EWTN Radio.
CNA is the only fast, reliable, and free Catholic news source that brings blogs, stories, and opinions to your fingertips. The latest Catholic news is at CatholicNewsAgency.com, an online service from EWTN News.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
In Monday's lesson, this is my breviary. We say this every day, 3-4 times a day. And the Lord again gives it to us. You know, he says, you're like an adulteress, a murderer, prince of rebels, and a comrade of thieves. Woo. And then he says, in the days to come, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established as the highest mountain. Come, he says. It's always saying, come, let's talk this over. Let's climb the Lord's mountain to the house of the God of Jacob. See, there's that combination of a call to repentance, a call to conversion, and the result.
For more information on Mother Angelica, visit Religious Catalog at EWTNRC.com.
Phone lines have just lit up. You guys really are taking on this conversation today. I love it. I've got my notebook out. We're ready to go. And like promised, Jerry said Donna was up first, and she was. She's in quickly in Jackson, Michigan, listening on Good Shepherd Radio. Hi, Donna. A blessed Advent to you. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be able to call in and share.
Thank you. So what kind of service do you give, and how does that bless your life, Donna?
So I work in a high school library as a support staff library aide, and I've worked there for 23 years, and I have been able to touch lives of young people every day. Kids lose parents. Kids lose their homes sometimes to fire or disasters, and I've been able to reach out and love on these kids, and it comes back to me also. And then I've also learned that by giving to other people, it makes me want to do it more, for one thing. And another thing is I've had people that have loved me and taken extra steps with me at times in my life that spurs me to do that also. One thing that I did do, I'm a quilter, and I started a small group for teenage girls at my school where I work, and I offered a summertime teaching time and just kind of gathering time with these young people. And we had like 7 or 8 that came, and they all made their quilts for the first time quilts, and they were beautiful. They were able to put them in the fair, but you know what? The biggest thing that I would say, well, that I got out of it was, sometimes these kids, they just need somebody to affirm them, somebody to just go that little extra bit. And I'm hoping that they will in turn do the same when they mature and get older, that they will say, hey, you know what, there was that lady, and she really cared about us. And we want to do the same. And, I'm just support staff. I'm just really, sometimes we look at ourselves as support staff. We're just there to check books in or check books out or dust the shelves or whatever. And, but I see my job as a ministry to young people, and I value that over money because I just get to help make a difference, and I've prayed with kids over exams and tests and all kinds of things. And
well, Donna,
I'm rewarded by the Lord by doing so. For sure,
you are, and you've alluded to that several times, and I love that. We always talk about it's a principle that sometimes it's hard to wrap our heads around, but it really is true. The more that we give, the more we're going to be blessed, the more we're going to receive in return. And Donna, the beautiful thing is you don't go into this. You're not doing this for that purpose, but it's a byproduct of your generous heart, and you're working with these young kids. And I love the fact that you really just see them where they are for who they are, and you understand the troubles and trials and challenges they're going through. I mean, being a teenager today, Debbie, it's got to be. Hopefully, it's a lot of fun, but in some ways, it ain't no fun because of the challenges and the peer pressures and all of that these kids find them. So Donna is doing a really terrific thing.
You are, Donna, and I just wanted to say I love how you called it a ministry, and you're doing it for 23 years. You're dedicated to these children. They obviously can sense your heart and how much you care about them. I think that's an eternal gift you're giving them, Donna. You're showing you care. I love that. More power to you. I hope you do it for an additional 23 plus years. What do you think?
I hope so too. And I'm running out the door to my hair appointment right now, so I'm going to go love on my hairdresser today.
There you go. There you go. And you'll look beautiful. Thanks, Donna. Absolutely.
Donna.
Thanks, Donna.
Have a great day. 1-800-585-9396. Take two with Jerry and Debbie, talking today about making other people's lives better. What are you involved in, whether volunteer or for pay? If it's a service industry of some kind, maybe you're a waiter, a waitress, a cook, a hairstylist. Maybe, my sister, God rest her soul, used to just love going to her massage therapist, and she had the one that she wanted, and that person knew, what to, just exactly where to press and rub and all of this stuff. And so it's about enhancing quality of life, not so much, for living in the lap of luxury, but we afford ourselves, the opportunity to go out to dinner once in a while, or get that massage, or get the lawn taken care of, or the landscape or something. And if you're the one who provides that service, what do you get out of it, and what really, sparks you to answer the bell and put your feet on the floor every day?
Well, next up is Margaret. She's calling in from Florida, listening on 9:20 a.m. Hi, Margaret. Thanks for waiting, and welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi. Thank you for having me on.
Sure. Go right ahead.
I have waited tables for over 25 years, and I have always thought that it really, everywhere we are is a ministry, whether you're in the grocery store talking to the guy that runs the deli, or whether I'm waiting on someone at my restaurant. And there was one specific incident that really stood out when I heard you talking about this today. I had a woman come in with her husband, and all I can say is there was God's peace on me, because this woman was not peaceful, and she was so distraught, and nothing was making her happy. And I just knew that if I could keep loving on her, if I could just keep serving her with the smile and all the love I had for another child of God, and we get through the whole meal, and her husband thanked me and said, I'm sorry she was so difficult today. And I got a letter a week later at my restaurant from that lady saying, thank you. You turned my day around. We've been traveling. I know I was ugly to you. I am so sorry. And thank you so much for taking care of me that day and making my day that much better.
Wow. Wow. Well, and Margaret, think about what you did. See, you picked up on it, first of all, so I believe that's the Holy Spirit. So you picked up on the fact that she was not having a good day. You worked extra hard to try and make her day better. Clearly, you gave her that human connection that she needed, the care that she needed. Think about if you had said, no, this lady, something's wrong with her. I'm not even going to mess with her. And you walked away. Okay. What could have happened? She could have ended up, possibly getting in an argument with her husband. It could have just spiraled but you changed that with the fact that you presented not only your ability to serve them, which is what we do when we're in the restaurant business, but you presented a loving heart. So you were Christ to her. And I love that. I think that my thought is you're going to have eternal blessings for that one, Margaret. I really do. I know you got the letter from her, and that's something that you got here on earth. But I believe there's going to be eternal rewards for you going the extra mile.
Well, thank you. It was such a rewarding situation, and honestly, it's not just my customers; it's my coworkers. I led one coworker who at one point hated me so much they refused to speak to me for 4 months, and now she's in church. Every week with her daughter and her husband, and the difference is amazing. And it was just God's grace, because it wasn't mine. It was Him.
Yeah, but you're cooperating. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Margaret, you are the type of person who's perfect for this. You said you've been doing this over 25 years, and I can imagine that this encounter with this cranky woman whose life you, or at least her day, you turned around, that had to, I'm sure that was not the first time. You probably run into this all the time. And so what is it? What do you think it is? Is it just the grace of God? Is it your own temperament, Margaret? What is it that, kind of keeps you kind of going back to this every day? Because you could end up being jaded by the way you get treated by a lot of customers and just start to look at this as a thankless job. But it sounds like that has never crept into your mind or your heart.
No, I could never look at it that way, because these are my brothers and sisters in Christ, and they have value, and they have things going on in their lives just like I do. How could I not love on them and take care of them to the best of my ability?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
you're a beautiful soul. Yeah. Well, more power to you. We want you to do it for 25 plus more, years. Got to keep going. Keep going. Our work is never done when we're doing the Lord's work.
If I came into your restaurant, Margaret, I'd ask for your section.
Thank you.
We'd be Margaret's call. They call it call party. We'd be Margaret's call party. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Well, if y'all are ever in Melbourne, come try and find me.
Absolutely.
Right. Bless
Thank
you, Margaret. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. And thanks to the good folks at Divine Mercy Radio for being one of our affiliates of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. 1-800-585-9396. See, everyone's got something to share about this. If you're involved in a profession, an industry, maybe you volunteer, it's a job that you have, and it's really more brief encounters with people. Sometimes people you'll never see again. Maybe you have regular people who come to you, but you just enhance their life in some way through some type of service. 1-800-585-9396. Let's go to Toledo, Ohio. Listening on Annunciation Radio, I believe. Zubetta, welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Sure. What do you have for us today?
Yes. So I actually, about a year and a half ago, I started a nutritional snack bar company, and it is the first nutritional snack bar in the world to implement the superfood, the black seed. Just growing up in America, I felt like it was an unutilized gem in the health food market. And I was a teacher by trade, and I would see my students come in and eating refined sugars and bad carbs. And I would ask them, why do you guys eat that during school hours? And they said, we just need to keep us awake. And that was their go-to food when, they were in a hurry to leave the house. And so I knew that was a problem in our society, and I wanted to solve this. And so I said, why can't I create a modern, durable treat that is extremely healthy but tastes delicious, so that we could kind of cure the issue of healthy food tasting bad? So I created the Cure Bar, and that's CURE. And so it's 9 all-natural ingredients. And then I created this nutritional snack bar to give back to society in order to help cure people's health, make them eat more health consciously. Mm-hmm. And then I recognized my social responsibility, so I decided for every Cure Bar I sold, I would donate a bar to a person in need.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So I would go downtown.
Yeah, Zubeda, can you hold on just a little bit, because we have to just take a time out just for a little bit. But I'd love to talk to you about this. Jerry knows this is music to my ears, and I was just in Toledo, Ohio. I would have visited your nutritional bar. My goodness, I love this. So if you can just hang on just a little bit, we're going to go ahead and hit that pause button, and when we come back, we'd love to finish the discussion with you, because look how you not only cared about wanting to create something that was healthy and nutritious for everyone, but then you're giving to others who are in need. I think that is wonderful. Marianne and Brenda and Joan and Anna, hold on. Like you hear that beautiful music. When we come back, we're going to go back and talk about this, because it's fascinating, Jerry, not only to be of service, but to give to others. I mean, this is definitely ministry in action. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We'll be right back.
Father Robert Spitzer.
First of all, you will get a much deeper awareness of your faith, much deeper awareness of the evidence for your faith, explanations of tough theological issues, how science and reason and faith come together, and above all, a deeper awareness of how to practice your faith and how to live it.
Father Spitzer's Universe with Father Robert Spitzer. Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Jesus called the Holy Spirit the Advocate. An advocate is one who builds you up. He's got your back, and he'll go to bat for you. The opposite of an advocate is an accuser. Revelation calls the devil the accuser. An accuser deflates you and rips you down. You are in the midst of an epic spiritual battle between the advocate and the accuser, and the battlefront is your mind. Have you been listening to the accuser who tells you you're broken and can't be fixed? Your marriage isn't worth fighting for. You don't matter. The whole story of your life is defined by the worst page. The advocate wants you to face today with the confidence and security that comes from knowing you're a beloved child of God, a God who has your best interest in mind and who has destined you for eternal glory. Which voice will you listen to? Whose side are you going to be on today? This is Chris Stefanik from RealLifeCatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
This is Al Kresta, host of Kresta in the Afternoon, with an Advent prayer for all of us. May we develop the gentle, pondering heart of Mary, who lived her pregnancy in silent, joyful expectation of the Nativity, when she would nurse the God-man at her breast, and further ponder the lowliness of God's approach, the lowly manner of his arrival, and the lowly status of us, his intended audience.
We're talking today to Zubeda in Toledo, Ohio, who opened up a snack company, a nutritional bar. I'm telling you, I love this concept, and I love the fact that you care so much that others are giving themselves the proper nutrition so that they can carry on, so they can, perform at a higher level, and then you're giving back to the community. What prompted you to do that?
So I was inspired by a recipe that my grandmother used to make me eat as a child. It consisted of black seed and honey, and she called it her secret cure for everything. In sickness and in health, she would make us eat a spoonful of this mixture every day. And she said, the black seed has so many medicinal properties. When I grew up and I started getting into nutrition and health, I started doing research on the black seed. And I found that it's been used for medicinal reasons all across the world in different cultures. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to make it more used in America because you know how the chia seed just randomly became super popular?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I just said, I think it's important for people to eat healthy food and not be afraid of it because people have this stigma where healthy food tastes really bad. And I think it's really important for all these corporations and these consumer packaged goods companies to start making food that is good for you, that also tastes well, so that people don't have to have that, hard decision. Do I want something that tastes good or something that's healthy?
Right. Well, beautiful.
Well, my question is, apparently it is possible. I was going to say, is it even possible to have something healthy that tastes good? But of course it is. And Zubeda, thank you for sharing what you did, and especially the fact that when you're not only in this just to kind of sell these bars, but to give them away as well. Yeah. And that, I'm sure, is enhancing the quality of life of a lot of people, Debbie. Not just from a nutritional standpoint, but when people are given something and we see that people care about us, that enhances our soul as well. So Zubeda,
absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Very inspiring what you're doing there. Keep up the good work, and we'll keep you in our prayers.
Absolutely. Next time I'm in Toledo, I'll make sure I visit your snack company. I love it. Thank you so very, very much. Okay, Marianne, you have been waiting so patiently in Brooklyn, Ohio, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Marianne. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi.
Hi, Marianne.
I just called in to say that I've been in the beauty business a long time. I graduated high school in 1961 from West Tech, and then I went to beauty school. I've always went to a hair stylist with my aunt or my mother, and I felt comfortable. And so I worked in salons for approximately 24 years, and then I worked. I bought my own salon, and I worked in salons in Lakewood and in Cleveland, and then I bought my own salon in Rocky River, and I worked there for 24 years. So then Then I had to leave my salon because the shopping center in Rocky River that I worked had to give up. 5 people had to give up their leases. So then I worked at a salon in Westlake with a girl that worked for me. We joined them and worked as independent contractors. And I worked there for a year. And then the girl, her name is Esther, I said, Esther, maybe it's your turn to open a salon. So she found a salon and opened it up in Lakewood, and I worked for her for 12 years. So and I just retired at the age of 74 in November. I retired in June of this year.
Wow.
So I've had quite a career and have met so many people that I have encouraged them in their lives. I've known them, their parents, their children. Some I have taken care of for 38 years. So it's it's done so much to make me the person I am, because I've shared with them our faith and all the things that we do in life to make us deal with people so much better and care about people. I've learned traveling through my customers because my family never traveled. I traveled with friends. I've traveled alone in Europe, in the Orient, in Africa. And I did this because I lived at home and I never had to pay rent. I lived with my parents, who were the best parents in the whole world. And different times I've had with my life, my customers shared with me, and I have shared with them with encouragement and caring and trusting in God and hoping and asking guidance for our Blessed Mother and Jesus. And we made it through life wonderfully, even
Marianne,
through bad times.
This is just an amazing story, and the fact that I can relate, Marianne, in one very I think key way. It sounds like you were attracted to being a hairstylist when you were a girl, and you went to right after high school. You went to school for that, and it's been your career, but it's been way more than a career. It has provided you with a full life, which is really amazing and wonderful. But you've also, like you said, the ministry opportunities, the relationships you built. And the reason I'm able to relate to it is because when I was a teenager, I used to play disc jockey and pretend that I was a radio announcer and stuff. And I went to broadcasting school right after high school. And now I'm amazingly coming up on 40 years of doing this, so I can really relate, Debbie, to Marianne's story, but just the ways that her life has been blessed and how she's blessed other people. This is a perfect example of what we're talking about with the topic today.
Oh, absolutely. Marianne, as you were speaking and just how much you've invested yourself in others, I could just tell that if you were my hairstylist, I would be confiding in you, because that's what we do. We feel so comfortable with those that are taking care of us. And it sounds like you built many relationships and you have a lot to share. I would encourage you, if you haven't done it already, to journal your life experiences being in the beauty business, because I'm sure you have a lot of interesting stories that you can impart that have really kind of pearls of wisdom mixed within them. And I don't know if you've ever thought of that, but that's just a suggestion. I've always thought it would be fascinating to have somebody compile.
I have to tell you one thing. I had a customer who I've known, for longer than my salon even. And she died, and she was very Catholic, very holy. And she told me one thing I'll never forget. And she says, Marianne, what means most is who you are. Mm. That's what means the most. Mm.
Wow.
It's that's who you are. And, of course, this means what God expects of you that you follow.
Yeah, we are definitely called to serve God with our whole heart and soul wherever He has us in whatever circumstances. And Marianne, you exemplify that. You really do. And that person, whoever said that to you, is very, very wise. And we're going to let you go on that because we have a lot of calls. But Debbie, the only other thing I would add is when Marianne mentioned all the travel she did with her customers, I'll bet if you were a client of hers, you and Marianne would probably go to Italy sometime.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I was thinking the same thing. Marianne would be a blast to go to Italy with. I love it, Marianne. God bless you. You're a beautiful, beautiful woman, beautiful soul. Thank you for all the work you've done, and enjoy retirement. I think it's awesome. I think they say that when you retire, you do more work than when you were actually in the active workforce. So more power to you, Marianne. Thank you for calling in. I understand it's your first time calling to Take Two. Don't be a stranger, and have a beautiful, wonderful feast day today on the Immaculate Conception.
Okay, right back to the calls. Brenda has been holding very patiently in Yankton, South Dakota, listening on the Lamb Radio. Hi, Brenda. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. I just want to tell you that I love you guys, and I love listening to your show.
Thanks. We love having you with us, Brenda. Thanks.
Thanks. I am in a new job right now, but all of my life, actually, I have been selling things. I've sold all kinds of things. I've always been in retail. And the new job that I just got is I'm working at a flower shop. And I feel that God has been really doing a work in me in the last 5-10 years. I'm a convert to Catholicism, and I started to just really feel a passion to know more about the Catholic faith. And I started listening to Catholic radio, and Catholic Answers was the first program that I found that I fell in love with. And I started listening to Catholic radio all day, and you guys and Johnette, and I love Father Richards. And what came from that, I feel like God not only wanted me to know more about the Catholic faith, but I think He also wanted me to do more than just sell things to people. I think what I decided that I needed a new job. I was out of work. I needed a new job, and I tried to get a job as a hospice worker or working with mentally handicapped people. I felt like maybe I should do something that was more meaningful, that would really help people. But this is the job that I got. I'm still selling things, and I'm selling flowers now, and I'm really enjoying it. And what I find is that I don't just want to sell things anymore. I want to be Jesus to people. And I work with a lot of grieving people, and I work with elderly people who are unfortunately going to way too many funerals because of their age. And I find that just taking time to talk to them and maybe convey my condolences or just affirming them. I think I grew up without a lot of love. I was in an abusive family growing up, and I decided to instead of concentrating so much on that, which I have in counseling over the years, I decided to turn it into something good. And so I try to be affirming and validating to other people. So I think although I wanted a job that maybe had more meaning, I feel like I'm right where God wants me right now. So I try to do like Mother Teresa says to do. I'm not doing great things, but I'm doing small things with great love. So.
Well, Brenda, you are right where God wants you, and every little tiny thing that we do can be a great thing in the eyes of God if, as you say, it's done with that great love. It doesn't matter what it is, and that's, I think, one of the beautiful things about a conversation like this. We talked early in the start of the show. Some of the professions and industries and jobs that we're hearing from people about today are not necessarily out in the front, the glamorous things, the high profile things and all that, but they're so very, very important. And I would just say this, Brenda, with regard to, what you do now, selling flowers. I don't know if you do the arranging, but Debbie, one of the things that's always amazed me, I have very little creative sense as far as decorating or,
I've seen your floral arrangements. I've seen it.
Yeah, putting a bouquet of flowers. I've seen people doing it, though.
It's
amazing. So meticulous. And this flower here and this, what do they call that breath? The breath
baby's
stuff.
Breath.
What are they?
Baby's breath. Mm-hmm.
And they're assembling this bouquet of flowers as though it's Rembrandt painting a picture. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Brenda and her colleagues, that this is the kind of care and attention they probably put into that as well. So I think it's not at all unimportant. I think it's a very noble thing.
Well, yeah, and I just want to say real quickly, Brenda, first of all, thank you for the beautiful, kind words you said about Catholic radio. Thank you so much for appreciating it. That means the world to all of us. But the other thing I wanted to share is I love how you're taking the opportunity. Here you are in the business of selling flowers and providing, the floral arrangements for things that are of great celebration, also of things of great sadness, with funerals and stuff. So you cover the wide range of it, but you're taking the opportunity to connect with that person that is obtaining the floral arrangement, and you're walking with them. I love how you said you're affirming them. See, those opportunities, I think those are just absolutely divine. I think it's God's way of allowing us to be Jesus to others, to really emulate Jesus, to imitate Jesus, and you're doing it beautifully. And I think that is wonderful. I will just tell you, I ordered flowers recently for my aunt in New Jersey who passed away, and the lady who answered the phone in New Jersey, she was so kind to me, and she kept saying, "Well, what color did your aunt like?" And it made me feel good. I felt comforted. And you're doing that, Brenda. So it is a ministry. Thank you so much for noticing that and then expanding it into that. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Brenda, for the call.
Yeah, I was going to go back to Brenda.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you, Brenda.
Well, we got a bunch more calls here, Brenda, and I know you can understand that we want to get to them, but have a blessed Advent. Thank you for listening to the Lamb Radio, and feel free to call us here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie anytime. We're going to go back to the calls, but Deb, you've got a very important word for people first.
Well, I just want folks to make sure that, we're in the season, okay, and the EWTN Religious Catalog is just a great online destination for books and DVDs and rosaries, devotionals, gifts, anything that you could imagine that could help others grow in their faith. Please, please, please visit it on a daily basis, because there's different little perks that are happening during this season of during Christmas and Advent, and it's wonderful. I mean, you can get different discounts and stuff, and highlighted different devotionals that maybe you might want to pick up that are like kind of the popular ones right now. It's really cool. So please think about visiting it every day, the EWTN Religious Catalog. And remember this is the most important part. When you purchase, it directly supports EWTN's mission. So just like when Brenda was saying how much she loves EWTN Radio, well, this helps further the mission. So make sure you just buy Catholic, shop EWTNRC.com today.
All right, to your great takes, more of them coming. So we got Joan and Anna and James going to try to fit you all in today. Joan, you got in next. You're in Katy, Texas, listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on Guadalupe Radio. Hi, Joan. Welcome.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
I've never called into a radio station before, so.
Oh, welcome, so Joan.
Well, I'm not actually in any service industry, but I was really blessed by two people who were and are, I guess they may still be. It was at a Chick-fil-A. This was several years ago, And my husband and I were traveling back home with our kids, and we had been to visit our families, and my purse was stocked full of Christmas money that my kids and my husband and I had gotten as gifts from relatives, and we stopped at a Chick-fil-A for lunch on the way home, and we were there for a while. And I remember meeting this one employee, and I greeted her, and she kind of looked at me. I could tell she probably didn't speak English. So anyway, we went on, had our meal, and we left, and it was another 2-hour drive home from there. And when I got home, I couldn't find my purse, and I realized I had left it at Chick-fil-A. And I just had this sick feeling because all my kids' Christmas money was in there, and I thought if they've lost it, I said, it's my fault. I left my purse there. And I was just, anyway, so I thought, well, there's probably no chance that we'll find it again. But my husband called the manager, and he said, yeah, we found it. One of our employees did. It's here. If you can get back whenever they close. So my husband had a 2-hour drive back there to get my purse. He came back. Everything was in there. And so I wrote a thank you note to the manager and the employee who found it, who was that lady I had spoken to. And she didn't speak English, just Spanish, so I had a friend write it in Spanish for her. And I got them each a Walmart gift card to thank them for their honesty. And the manager, I got a thank you note from him saying that he was just doing his job, and he donated the gift card I'd given him to a food bank. So it was just beautiful to see that honesty, and that, they weren't, at least the manager was just kind of saw it as his job, and he didn't even want to keep that thank you for himself. He wanted to pass it on to somebody else to be a blessing.
Wow. That is a beautiful testimony. What an odyssey. What an adventure. A lot of driving for what I'm sure was a very good meal. And thanks be to God that you got your purse back with all the contents in there and so forth. My understanding of Chick-fil-A is that it's a Christian-owned company. And I'm sure that kind of,
the culture
is pervasive culture. And they're even closed on Sundays to honor the Lord's Day. So it doesn't surprise me that a company like that would have that type of employee, Debbie, but still, it is a testament to that individual who just had the integrity. I mean, anybody could have, maybe fished through her purse a little bit and then said, "Hey, I found this." But it was just all on the up and up. It's fantastic.
It does definitely give you that hope that we have we have those people that still care. But as you were speaking, Joan, the whole time when you said I left my purse, I could feel that knot in my stomach. I think that is all of us. I mean, we all can experience that at one time or another. I bet, Joan, now that when you leave a place, you double check to make sure you have your purse with you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, what a beautiful, happy ending, though. And you had a great connection with everyone. And I think it gives us hope. It really does. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful, it feels good. That was a feel-good story. Okay, Anna, you're up next in Columbus, Ohio, listening on St. Gabriel Radio. Hi, Anna. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Doing well, Anna.
Good. I am on my way home from the ministry that God sent me into 5 years ago. And it's been so fulfilling. 5 years ago, God told me to become a hospice volunteer. And I am trained at the very end of life to be there for people and their families. So they sent me to a hospital, St. Anne's Hospital, here in Columbus, Ohio. And I do hospice volunteering. And, a lot of these patients are comatose. Those who aren't, I do what I can for them and their families, listen to them, or give them a gentle hand massage, or just talk with them, or be with them, or hold their hand. But the comatose patients, I always like to walk in and say the Divine Mercy for them. And in all that, I feel that I'm getting the greatest benefit of all of it. It's been so rewarding. That's it.
Well, you are getting benefits, Anna, and let me tell you why. Again, as we've said on the show before, you don't do this for what you will get, but it's part of what we do. God is going to bless us in return, and one of the I believe it's one of the corporal works of mercy is burying the dead. Well, you're not actually burying them, but you're actually assisting people and attending to them at their deathbeds. And when I was in formation for the priesthood, I did a summer at a hospital, and I was on a hospice wing as well, and I know very well that a lot of people are alone. They don't have family to come. They're scared. They're going to, and so to have that loving, caring heart right there with them, Debbie, is just such a great, great ministry. This is one of the most important things that I think any of us could ever do for somebody.
Yeah, you're at a place, Anna, where you know it. It's the most intimate encounter that you have with that soul that is about to transition, to leave this earth. And I'll tell you what, God bless you. God bless you for taking it on. You can hear that your heart is in it. And wow, talk about, I believe it, Anna. I just believe there's eternal benefits to the work you're doing here and now. So thank you for taking care of those beautiful souls and saying that divine mercy. Wow, I mean, you talk about leaving in just an incredible Holy Spirit presence. I just can't, no words could describe. I love the work that hospice does. I think it's just, they were there for us when my dad was dying, and we couldn't have done it without them. So thank you for the work you're doing.
Yeah. Thanks, Anna. James, driving through Missouri. We've got 90 seconds, James, but we wanted to save a few seconds here to get you on the program. Hi, welcome to Take Two, James.
Thank you. This is the second time I called. I was getting ready to start our CIA last time I called. And I am still in RCIA, and things are going great. But I wanted to say I was on the receiving end of this. I was traveling through Texas. I'm a truck driver, and I stopped for my 10-hour break in Dumas and went in and sat down at the counter and ordered an adult beverage, was sitting next to a young man, and somebody did the sign of the cross or something, and then I mentioned that I was reading the catechism of the Catholic Church, and it turns out he was Catholic, and he ministered to me, and he asked me if I was going to be there for a few minutes. He ran home and brought me back some literature, a CD of some music, and turned out his goddaughter is a waitress at the restaurant, and we text back and forth regularly, checking on each other and praying for each other, and he whenever I travel through town, I call and see if he's available, and he comes down and has lunch with me or whatever. It was really neat, though, to just run into somebody like that and how open and, he was to share with me.
Beautiful, James. It's a beautiful chance encounter that has now turned into, it sounds like, a really cool friendship. And so thanks be to God, James, for you. We're grateful that you are in RCIA. We remember you calling before, and our prayers remain with you as you go through that process of inquiry and learning about the Catholic faith. The Holy Spirit's got you on a beautiful path. And Debbie, these people that God puts in our lives, like this gentleman that James met, that's just, I think, a reinforcement for James. It's got to be a real inspiration, kind of an extra little sign from God, like, hey, you're going in the right direction, and I'm with you all along the way. I think it's beautiful.
Absolutely. He cares about your soul, James. I got choked up as you were speaking because I could just picture him running home and getting those resources for you. He cares about your soul. That's what we all should be doing. What a great story to end with, James. Thanks for calling back. Check in with us. We'd love to hear how your RCIA journey is going, and we really appreciate that because prayers are with you. Take Two Family prays for all of the Take Two family. So you're included in that, James. So thank you so much for that call today.
Yeah, thanks, James. You hear the music there. That is going to wrap up this week of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. On Monday, we got a question for you. Think about it over the weekend. What is your first world problem? I know you've heard of that before, but the little inconveniences of life, it could be slow traffic in my case, it could be a crying baby, it could be the meal you're served isn't hot enough. These little irritants in life, and then we sometimes stop and think, wait a minute, that's a first world problem. There are a lot of people really suffering in the world. So we're going to have a little fun with this, but get serious too. What is your first world problem? Be thinking about that over the weekend.
That's going to be a great show, and we just want you to have a beautiful feast of the Immaculate Conception today, and also continue to have a very blessed Advent. Until Monday, have a beautiful and blessed day.